Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to exchange.intermedia.net. You want to make sure you are in this For Admin section. For any users, obviously, they just go to the For Users. But for the admins, we're going to go here and we're going to use the username and password that was given to you. I'm just going to put that in now. Please make sure not to change this password as well. I'd really appreciate that. All right. Once we are logged in, to create a new user, we're going to click on Users. From there, once it loads up here, I will get to see the user list. There we go. Okay, now we're just going to click on Create User. Okay, from Create User, under the General Settings area, just want to make sure under Services that we check mark the Exchange. We're going to write in the display name. So this is, display name. So this is going to be first name, last name. Now we're just going to make sure that we always do our same standard, first name dot last name. And as you notice here, we want to make sure that this @BHHSDrysdale goes to @BHHSDrysdale.com. It should look just like this. Okay? Then you're going to go ahead and create a new password. Okay, that's very good to know. Then you're going to go ahead and create a new password based on whatever standard you have. Okay, so I have my own little standard that I use. All right, and then the organizational unit, whatever office this agent is in, you're going to put them into that organizational unit, which will be used later on when we separate our distribution list for everybody. Separate our admin list for everybody. Okay, then we're just going to click on Create. And voila. Then we click on Confirm. And we're all set. Pretty simple so far. I think most of you have already done this. You've probably had some time to work on this. If you haven't, that's okay. Sometimes this does take a while to process. Once the processing is finished, then we can move on, and I'll show you how to add a user to a distribution list. So that's all there was for creating a new user. Hope everybody found that helpful and easy. Let's see, for the password, can we use the MyConnect password? Yes, you can. You can use whatever password you want, and if your agents have said that all of their email is syncing, if they're positive that their email has fully synced, then they can change their password. They just have to understand changing their password on their computer means they have to change it onto their phone, onto their desktop, everywhere else. So whole new password has to be re-entered into every device that their email is on. Just want to throw that out there. Okay, so now that we've learned how to create a new user, we've gone through it. Now let's go ahead and move to the next step. Let's add a user to a distribution list. How about that? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the Services tab, and we're going to go to the distribution list. Your Office distribution lists have already been created. Everything that was in Rackspace was pulled over. So we're going to just go ahead and find the distribution list for this new user that we have. Okay, I need to write down this name so that I remember the user. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to add our new user to a distribution list, the same as the organizational unit. So in this case, I already know that it's going to be Danville. I'm going to apply filter. It's going to give me all the choices for the Danville, and there's my Danville office. Okay, I'm going to click on the Danville office. It's going to take me here, into the distribution. And then all I'm going to do is go to the members. I see we have 57 members already in the Danville distribution list. That's great. Now we need to add our new agent, Mr. or Mrs. Test User. So to add somebody here, you click on these two little people to the right to select from address book. Once you click on that, all you're going to do is search for the newly created user. In this case, we know it's Test User. I'm just going to put in the first name and apply filter. All right, so there I can see the new test user right here. Third one down, I'm just going to check mark the box right next to him and click select. But we're not done yet. Now we have to actually add. So now we're going to click on this add underneath. Seeing the test user here shows us that we have applied that filter and that test user has shown up, but they're not added to the distribution list yet until we click add. Okay, once we've done that, they are now added to our distribution list. We can close this, and now we can see that we have 58 members instead of 57. That's how we know that they have been successfully added to the distribution list. Pretty easy, right? All right, so if there's no questions on that, I'm going to keep rolling along here, and we will go to the email forward for a user with a BHHS inbox. That means this user is able to log in to Intermedia for users and can enter a username and a password. And that's what we're going to cover right now. So we're going to go to users. Actually, I think there's a question. Sure, I can slow down a bit. If there's anything that I need to go back and cover, please let me know. So far, we've just covered how to create a new user and how to add a user to a distribution list. Now, please, I would just take a second here and have everybody please make sure that you check your list. Every user, every person should be in the group list, in your office list, and in our main list, our Drysdales at bhhsdrysdale.com. So every user here should be in at least 2 distribution lists. Everybody needs to be in Drysdales at bhhsdrysdale.com, and everybody needs to be in your office distribution list. So please make sure that you do check that and make sure that all of your agents are in that list. If agents aren't getting any mail or anything like that from their group, it's probably because they're not in those lists. Only takes a few minutes here to go ahead and just make sure that all of our users are in the correct list. All right? Okay, so email forwarding for someone who has an actual BHHS inbox. Here's what we're going to do. First step we're going to do is we're going to go back to services. All right, then we're going to click on company contacts. Okay. Let's see. I've done this wrong. Company contact. Excuse me. Okay. Now we're going to create a new contact because I want test.user at bhhsdrysdale.com to forward somewhere else. Okay? So I'm still going to give this the exact same name, test user, so I know that that user is tied to this email address that I'm going to put in here. All right, and then I'm just going ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put in. I'm going to put in mine. Forward. I know it's a real one. Okay. So now, in the organizational unit, make sure you set that to 0 or none. We want to make sure we keep that on none here because this is not a BHHS email address. This is a forward. This is how we're creating a forward for the test user who does have an email address. Okay. Okay, so once we hit create, yes, you can contact me at that Gmail, of course. I'm always around somewhere. I'm not too hard to find. All right, and depending on your computer speed, your internet speed, this could take a few seconds, could take a few minutes. Maybe I need to check for some updates on my computer there. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to go back to the Services tab. From Services, we're going to click on, where are we going here? Services. Excuse me, we're going to click on the email address, mailboxes. Okay. Now from there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find the user that I just created. I always just do first name. You definitely can put in as much in the filter, but I just put in first name, click on that user. It's going to click on their name. Now you're going to see that the forward mail is set up to not set up. So I know that this is not set up to forward, but I want to forward this test.user@bhhsdryso.com to gregfernandez2@gmail.com. So I'm going to click on not set up. Okay, and then I'm just going to search, because I've already created that contact. I'm just going to search for, I'm going to search for test user. Search for it by my display name. There he is right there. I'm just going to circle the test user for Greg Fernandez ii@gmail.com and save changes. Excuse me. Okay, and that's it. And now I can see that the forward mail too is set up to forward to my newly created company contact, gregfernandez2@gmail.com. And that's how we do the forward. If there's no changes, if there's no questions on that, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Now we're going to look at email forwarding for a user without a BHHS email box. Okay, this is for people who are only on a forward, people who do not have an actual BHHS email box. They have a BHHS email address, because everybody must have one, but that is forwarding to a non-BHHS email. Let's see, will that leave a copy in your mailbox? It absolutely will leave a copy in your mailbox, as long as you have it set to save copies of forwarding emails to test user, okay? So as long as I have that set up, then yes, it will. Now I did not have that set up, so in this case, I'm going to make sure that is set up. Okay, so now when I click on test user here, I see I have the saved copies set up to forward emails, and we're all set. All right, so now I'm going to save those changes. And now this will make sure that it saves a copy of the forward. So that now any email that is sent to test.user@bhhsdryso.com, a copy of that email will be saved inside of my mailbox, and it will also be saved inside of my Gmail. All right, 2 copies. Okay, so now we're going to go through the email forwarding without a BHHS email address. Okay, we're just getting started, have a new agent. They don't need a BHHS email box. They just want all of their BHHS email to forward to their non-BHHS email, okay? Here's what we do. So we're going to go to Services. Services tab is going to be one of your favorite tabs, trust me. And then we're going to go back to click on Company Contacts. All right, from Company Contacts, we're going to create a new contact for our new user. Okay, so now we're just going to say, let's go ahead and give this one, let me give this a new name. Okay, so this is going to be new user. Okay, and now I'm going to look for their non-BHHS email address. That's what we do when we create a company contact. And we're just going to go new user at gmail.com. Organizational unit is still going to be set to none. And we just click create. Continue. Wait for it to process.
Right now, today's the 11th. On your calendar, you have a sales meeting and
Okay, once this finishes processing,
from yesterday, and you're saying those don't show up.
now we're going to go back to services. All right, and from services, we're going to go to distribution list. And now, for this user, for this board, we're going to create their BHHS email. We're going to set that up as a distribution list. Okay, here's how you do that. So we go to create new distribution list. Same thing, we want to enter in that display name. So same thing, new user. This way I know that this will be tied to the user that I just created. And again, always use our standard first dot last name and make sure that the @ sign, after the @ sign, that it says bhhsdrysdale.com. Now, because they have a bhhsdrysdale.com email address here, we do want to make sure we add them to the organizational unit, which in this case would be Danville. Okay, then I'm just going to go create and add members. Everybody with me? Okay. Now we wait. It's going to redirect us to this familiar screen here. And once again, we're just going to click on the two little people here and select from address book. Okay. And now once we've selected from the address book, we just need to find out what email we're going to test that. We're going to apply that. So again, I can just say new or new user. In this case, I'm just going to say new. And I'm going to make sure I check mark this box here for new user at gmail.com. Select that. I will send this recording out as soon as I can, right after we finish this. Okay, now remember, we're not done yet because now that we have it tied to the new user, we need to click add. Very important step there. Okay, now we can see that the new user at gmail.com is now tied to this distribution list, and we just click close. Now we can see under members here, we can go back and verify that there is one member to this list, and there it is. So either way, they need to have a bhhsdrysdale.com email. You can either set that up as an actual mailbox or as a distribution list, okay? But it needs to be in there. These instructions will be included in the notes that I send out. I hope this is clear to everybody so far. If anyone has any questions, please let me know, or else I'm going to go ahead and move on and show everyone, or remind everyone, because everybody's been doing a great job so far. I would really say I'm really happy with what everybody is doing. It's been very, very helpful. I feel like this transition has been very smooth. So let's go ahead and go to change a user's password, all right? So once again, we're going to click on users. I'll tell them, Cindy. Okay. All right. So now once it redirects us back to users, who have a question here? Do we still need to add the distribution list to our office distribution list? Yes. What you will need to do is, yes, if that distribution list for new user would need to be added to whatever office they were in. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So we've created Mr. New.user, and we want to add them to the Danville group list. Okay. Whoops. Not Danville. Spelling is very important. Danville. So we have 58 members here. We just want to add the new user. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put in new here. Apply filter. New user. Never this one. Never the Gmail. Only the BHHS one is the one we want to add. We click select. And there it is. And now once we hit add, always got to hit add. That's the last step. It's going to be one of the most important steps. Then you will see as we can close this. And instead of us having 58 members, we now have 59. Okay? So thank you, Noel. Appreciate that. And if there's no other questions on that, we're going to keep moving along.
Yeah.
And we'll go to change a user's password.
Do you see the calendar items in there?
Okay. Now, let's say Mr. New User does not remember what his password was. Needs it changed. Okay, we verified. We've tried to access the web version of Intermedia here. We've noticed that the password does not work. We're just going to go ahead and change it for them. Okay. So here's what we do. We're actually going to do this for test user because test user is an actual mailbox. All right, so test user, we're going to go ahead and change your password here. Now, you see 3 different sections here. The only 2 you'll really need to worry about is the exchange and the user section. All right, so the most important thing, let's start here with the user. All right, now with the user, all we need to do, we know we can also verify a lot of their information here. And what we want to do is reset the password. Okay, so you would enter in a new password. You would type in that same password a second time, and you would hit reset password. Then it would automatically close for you, and that's it. You're all done there. Now, another thing that I would say that I've been doing is I've been actually uploading photos, so have some type of a template and try to encourage your agents to log into intermedia.net and then add in their own photo here. That photo will show up anywhere that they send any emails out to anyone. So it just makes it look very nice, and it's really cool. I really like that function. All right, so we've reset the password, changed the password, no big deal. Everybody knows how to delete a user, right? Hopefully. Let's go ahead and just run through that. We're almost done here.
Okay, can you open
And once we get to users, we're just going to search for that user and apply the filter settings. We'll wait here for my page to load.
And then in there, do you see?
All right, so now we just need to look for test.user. You can put in the whole thing. I generally just put in the first name. The filters work very, very well here, so it'll pick them up. Okay, so now all I need to do to delete this user is just click on this little box here right next to them and just click delete selected user. That's it. They're gone. All done. Hit confirm. Confirm it's over. And that's it. It's a similar process for the distribution lists and for the company contacts. And I think since we have a few extra minutes here, I can go ahead and show you exactly where that is. But it's basically the same process. I find this portal to be very user-friendly. There are a lot of features, so don't get overwhelmed here. You don't have to worry about a lot of these things. Just worry about what we're showing you here. The only 2 places you're ever really going to be is either users or services. And really, users and mailboxes are pretty much the same thing. So that's always a good thing. Okay, so to delete a distribution list, obviously you want to go back to services, go to distribution lists.
Go ahead and remove that.
And you just search for whatever distribution list. Oops. Sorry about that. You just search for whatever distribution list you want to remove. Let's just say I'm just going to remove one that I newly created here. Okay, so I'm going to remove this one. Same exact process. Check mark the box. Hit the delete. Confirm. You're done.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, let's see, I find that once I delete the user, it automatically deletes from the distribution list. That is correct. That is correct. It doesn't hurt to just go back and check if you want to make sure, but yes, deleting the actual user will delete the distribution list as long as that distribution list is tied to the user. So if it's not, then that's when I would just go back. I would go back distribution lists, and sometimes I'll even go back into the company contacts to remove any company contacts that are associated with that user too. So we've deleted the distribution list. Now I need to remove any company contacts that is associated with that.
Okay. But you don't see any other.
And again, we have this new one. So all I'm going to do is just check mark the box for the company contact, delete selected, and we're done. All right, and that will do it for the distribution. That will do it for the company contact. We know how to add them. We know how to remove them. And that is about it. Does anybody have any questions here? Anything that you want to cover? Is there anything that you're still not sure of when you log into Intermedia, or are you finding it just as user-friendly as I am? Okay, let's see. Read my question, please. Okay, Danny, here is Danny's question. Actually, let me stop this recording right now.